Welcome to another episode of Dose and a Half Cincos. As always, I am your host, David.
And I'm Stuart.
And I'm Ben.
Nope, you're Ben.
Yep, I'm Ben.
This week we're covering the movie of the week, Ad Astra. As always, we'll be doing our box office rundown and some general shenanigery. Gentlemen, besides Ad Astra this week, what else did you guys see?
Well, I have a couple things. I don't know, Ben, do you have a list of things, or should I just rattle mine off?
You can rattle yours off first.
All right, I'm going to rattle mine off right all over your face.
All right, I'm waiting. My face is ready. Go ahead. I'm ready. I want it. Right here.
All right, shut up. Let me do this. So the past couple weeks, I was talking a lot of shit, saying I was gonna watch Dark Crystal, and I finally did it.
Oh.
Finally watched the. Thank you. Yes, thank you. All right, take a seat. But yeah, I watched the Dark Crystal, the original, or not the original, but the the original movie, because there is also that Netflix series. It's pretty. I was pretty amazed by the visuals, not just because all the practical effects they were doing, and plus it's Jim Henson, so everything's gonna be pretty on point as far as the puppets and the scenery and all that stuff. So I don't know if anyone else watched it, but
I think most of us were just waiting for your general review before
okay.
I went to go ahead and dived in on it. So,
right.
Outside of just Jim Henson, kind of what you're expecting.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it was
what did you think? Did you like it?
Oh yeah, I liked it. Yeah, as far as the Jim Henson part goes, it's like the only Jim Henson movie I can recall where the puppets weren't just going around like on pretty much any other Jim Henson thing, like Kermit, like just flailing his arms, like everything was like very lifelike. The movement, like all the puppet movement, which I'm sure for some of the scenes they just like had a kid dressed up in the outfit, but still, even when it wasn't that, it was a lot of good work done in that movie.
Is there a series that's attached to it, or is it just the movie on its own?
So it was actually
like
because I wanted to watch the series. But at first I wanted to watch the movie, and then I realized after I watched the movie, Netflix decided to autoplay the series, and so I just started watching it, and then I realized it was a prequel to the movie, which I wasn't sure if I was ready to watch yet, like a prequel. So I haven't watched the series. Started watching. I've only seen like the first 15 minutes of the first episode.
But in terms of order, wouldn't a prequel be before the series?
Well, I guess I would. Well, yeah, David, it would. But I guess I was kind of not hoping, but I was expecting like a continuation. But when I found it I spent like 10 or 15 minutes going like, wait, which part does this happen after? Like, because it wasn't making any sense, and then I realized it was a prequel. So, if anything, I should have watched the series first, David. David, are you dead?
I'm here.
Oh. But that was that for me. I'm also rewatching Breaking Bad to get ready for El Camino.
Oh,
Are you watching the entire thing or just the last season?
Watching the whole thing.
God.
Holy. That is what a trooper.
I know. I'm in season. Well, it's not like it's hard to do.
I think it is. I mean, each one's an hour.
It's an hour apiece.
Yeah, but when you don't have anything, when you don't have a life and you don't do anything, then it's pretty easy. I think I'm in the middle of season 3 right now.
Wait. So are you actually like watching it, or are you kind of having it on in the background and just doing other stuff at the same time?
I would say, unlike my normal having stuff on in the background, where it's like 0 to 5% paying attention to it, this is more like 80% paying attention to it.
All right.
I've been watching it while I've been trying to edit the episode I'm working on. So.
Oh wow. Dang.
But yeah.
That's dedication.
That is some dedication. So we're expecting a lot of
I'm gonna have
good tidbits from Stu.
I'm gonna be like Ben the whole time, just like, oh yeah, this is why he did that, and oh, remember this episode, season 2, episode 4.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
I'm pretty sure we don't need you to watch the entire series all over again to just tell us that it was rated R.
Well, no, David. I think you do. You just don't get it.
If you knew from the very beginning, season 1 was actually PG-13 because a lot of them was including scenes that were just blacked out, or they would move to another scene during any time that there was any violence that would have categorized it as rated R. But after that, realizing that disconnected a lot of the story elements, seasons 2 through, to the very end, were all rated R just for completion's sake.
Yeah, thanks,
that's
Ben.
Not what...
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome, Ben.
But one thing I was curious. I don't remember when I watched it on TV, because there are some parts of the show where they say like fuck. So like, did they air that on TV on AMC? Them saying fuck? I don't remember them bleeping out.
I know that there were some things that they cut out. Are you talking about the first episode or just in general?
Just in general, there's like I don't know if you remember. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Breaking Bad.
Ooh.
There's that one scene where Walt is talking to his old colleague, the lady in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And she was like, saying how she feels so sorry for him, and he just like leans in and just says, "Fuck you." I feel like if they bleeped that on TV, that would have totally like taken away from
very
that
noticeable.
Scene.
Yeah.
Wait, no. They did allow them to say fuck at least once in the final season. I know that. So I'm not sure how TV rules work. I'm not sure if you can only say like fuck once during a season or something, but I know that they did allow it in the third to last episode of the final season, because I remember there was a lot of discussion about when they used it because it was so badass in the final moment.
Oh, okay. I'll have to keep a note of that when I rewatch the last episode.
Yeah, but I mean, I do know, like, in the first episode that they did cut out some parts, and they had like a more extended episode of the first episode because it was the pilot.
Right.
But it was just some mundane things, like, what was it? It was Walt's birthday, so Skylar gave him like a hand job in bed, and he's just like, "What were you doing?" Yeah. That's about it.
So yeah.
Everybody gets one.
Yep. Everyone gets one tug job.
Anything else? Anything else too?
That's as far as watching stuff. My media, been a pretty busy week for me in terms of media consumption. Like that past couple weekends, I've actually, and this is not really movie related, but I wanted to talk about it anyways. I've been playing the Call of Duty Modern Warfare beta.
Ooh, how was that?
I gotta say, I haven't played Call of Duty since probably Black Ops 2, and so this one is very, very good in my opinion, just because I feel like the last Call of Duty's kind of become a meme ever since probably like Black Ops or Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
But now, like, I don't know, it was very satisfying to play. It was very fun. The multiplayer is very fun. And one of the things for me with that really kind of like, and this is just me because I like stupid shit like this, but like little details in the gameplay don't even really affect like what you're doing, but like little details I like that like tickle me in the right way. Like when you load into a game, you'll start off in a helicopter and you like rope in, or you'll be in the back of a truck and you hop out like while everyone's still loading into the game.
So it adds like a little layer of like a realism,
these little
immersiveness.
Yeah, it's like the little details, and again, this is a couple other things that I really like. That's just like every time I see it, I just get a little excited. Was the when you spawn, your player character will do call it a press check, where they will check the gun to make sure that's ready to fire. So it's like that kind of amount of detail they put into the game, I really appreciate. I also appreciate that if you're reloading your gun and you still have ammo in it, you'll do what they call a tactical reload, where instead of just ditching the magazine on the ground, he'll grab onto it and save it for later. Oh. So I don't know, it's just stupid, just like little things like that, little details that I was very tickled by. So I will be getting that game.
Ooh, nice.
On PS4, I'm assuming.
PS4. I did try playing it on PC, but I don't know. I guess the controls there's too many other controls other than just aiming that are too awkward on a keyboard mouse.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and also like Spec Ops is a mode that's only available on PlayStation for I think a pretty long time. I
1
guess
year.
for exclusivity. Yeah, so that's pretty significant if that if that kind of brings back some memories to be able to play some of the co-op missions and stuff like that.
But yeah, so if anyone has been not playing Call of Duty and looking to get back in, I would say Modern Warfare is the one to get back in on.
Now, what do you think about the recent leaks that came out? I just read about it today, but I guess some people were digging through the files and found some references to, was it supply drops? Is that what it's called? Their system of a loot crate?
Oh, the ones that they had when they did all the Black Ops and Activision pretty much was like their way of being able to get microtransactions into the game.
Yeah, so apparently one of the items found within these supply crates are weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so...
What?
Yeah, so, I mean...
Like more powerful weapons that you
Yeah.
wouldn't have access to otherwise.
Yes. What do you think?
Boo.
What do you think about that?
That I mean, in general, that's whack. I didn't know that was a thing that they were going to be doing. I hope they decide to not do it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that'll be a major bummer because the beta I played so far has been a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard similar things that kind of plague a game where the game itself is really fun to play, but, things like these microtransactions where people can get ahead by paying like hundreds and hundreds of dollars just to get access to these powerful weapons, like in Battlefront 2. That I remember that was like a really big thing. People actually liked the gameplay a lot, but of course everything was behind this paywall, so a lot of people abandoned the game, but it's still going strong now.
Right.
Hopefully it doesn't plague Modern Warfare, like you said, because, well, it seems to be really good gameplay-wise, right?
Yep. But even if they have that, if they made it so that like my two favorite guns to use, which would be the M4 and the MP5, if they made those, like if they blocked those off by a paywall, which would seem weird because those are like crowd favorites. If they block those off, then yeah, that'd be probably a no for me then.
Would it be weird, or do you think it'd be very profitable for Activision to hide those particular ones? Well, if they're listening to our podcast, if you want Stu's extra money on top of the $60 you're gonna pay, make those ones $5 a piece, and I guarantee you he'll buy them.
Yeah, then I'm gonna be in the
or
game.
Or make it as part of the make it part of like the Harden edition.
Yeah.
Not James Harden. The
right.
The hardened edition,
Yeah.
Where like you get extra DLC, where it's like you get the MP4 unlocked and the MP5 and the M4 unlocked for an extra $20. Steel will be all over that. You'll, instead of getting $60, you'll get $80.
Yeah. Then I'll be on the chat going, so how much did you guys pay for your M4 MP5 package? And then we'll be like, what? We didn't pay anything. It came with the game. I'm like, what?
No, it comes in everybody's game. It's just not unlocked until you pay for it.
No, only BucketBot had to pay for it.
Yeah, well, if you guys are looking for someone to play with on PlayStation, we will go ahead and we'll link Stu's.
No, we won't.
Yep, we're gonna definitely do that. That's how accessible we are to our listeners.
Okay.
Thanks, Stu.
All right, and here's David's social security number while we're at it.
What? Well, we're accessible on all platforms.
Here's my address. Stop by anytime, I guess.
We have a fridge full of beer. I guess you guys can help yourselves.
And you have a separate Bang refrigerator. Not a refrigerator that you guys bang on, but it has Bang in it.
Banging
just to be clear.
Can. Sorry. Strumming on the street. I can't. Okay. Hey, so thanks, Stu, for that. Ben, what about you? Besides Ad Astra, what else did you see this week?
I did watch a few things, but first, some news. So, did you guys hear about what's been going on with the Joker movie? I thought it was kind of interesting. It's been...
Other than that, it's coming out? No.
Well,
besides that, I'm excited. I'm excited for it, and that the universe is not necessarily the exact same one that Jared Leto and for like Suicide Squad. That's as far as I know. Is that they're not linked? They're not necessarily linked.
Yeah, no, I mean more of in the real world sense. Joker has been gathering some unwanted attention. It's gotten some bad press just because of if you guys remember the Aurora shootings that happened a while ago when the Dark Knight Rises came out. Well, the Aurora theater where the tragedy happened, it has banned the Joker movie, and now some other people are starting to vocalize and kind of get behind this message and kind of rally behind it, saying that they don't want, they don't think that Joker should be played or anything because,
I mean, I don't see how one thing has to do with the other, but
I guess it's kind of a meme at this point, but in the sense that a lot of people actually do rally behind Joker and actually see him as kind of this hero and this he's been definitely compared to
quick poll, quick cincos poll.
Yeah.
David, do you view the Joker as a type of hero character figure?
No.
Ben, do you view the Joker as some kind of hero? Okay, definitely. Then that's 3 for 3. Wait, did you say no or yes?
Why not both?
Okay, that's still 3 for 3. So
well, I think Ben's probably gonna say the word hero as in like part of the word anti-hero. Does that count?
No, I mean
Punisher's an anti-hero.
Right, Punisher's an anti-hero, but I mean this is a hero in the sense that kids and people will actually look up to the Joker and say, "Oh man, this is how the world is. Like, I should take action similar to what is going on in the movie." And I have read some of the plot points that happen in the movie, and let me tell you, it's I mean, if there are people who genuinely believe that, I mean, this is kind of scary. I hope that this is not true, but
well, that just makes me want to see it even more.
I know. So,
but that is a little. I mean, I guess specifically for that theater, it'd be a little sensitive to it.
Yeah, I can understand that theater, but I mean every other.
But
theater,
anyone else, like, no.
Yeah, I can see how some people are getting a little clammy when it comes to this topic, but I mean,
here's what you do: you don't go see it, and you don't let your kid go see it. There, boom, problem solved.
Or you wait till it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray if you're concerned about your physical safety.
Or parents, if you notice that your kid is dressing in purple, green, and yellow, starting to wear white makeup, saying
he's trying to kill the
Batman, and carrying around knives, then maybe, just maybe, don't let them see Joker or play Lego Batman.
Has a really hot clown or circus clown girlfriend looking thing. What does she dress like?
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
Well, I mean,
she dresses up like Daddy's little girl.
No,
that's
what? I don't know if I would characterize it like that.
Well, that's what she says, right? I mean, it's on her bat and stuff.
No, I'm talking about actual Harley Quinn, not Suicide Squad Harley Quinn.
Oh, sorry. Like a jester.
Like a
there you go. Harley Quinn. Oh, I get it now. No.
But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting piece of information. Other than that, I have been watching. Have you guys heard of a show called Disenchantment?
Yes.
Yeah, so the second season just came out, and I've been continuing with that. I think I'm about halfway through the season right now. For those who don't know, Disenchantment is an animated fantasy show from creators Matt Groening and David Cohen? I think that's
who brought you The Simpsons.
Yeah, The Simpsons.
Naturally, Ben would be drawn to it.
Yep.
And also Futurama.
Yes, that's correct. So it definitely has that Simpsons Futurama vibe. But I gotta say, even with all the big names attached to it, it's definitely the weaker of the three, I would say. I mean, for me, Simpsons is definitely up there. Well, seasons 1 through 8, definitely number one. Futurama, the first 3 seasons, coming in a close second, but this one is pretty lagging far behind. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but the voice acting, the pacing of the series, and even the jokes, it can definitely kind of drag more often than not. And I think it's definitely something that it suffers from because maybe they're not recording in the same booth, so they just kind of record on their own. They don't really get play off of each other. The music and the action sequences, like I said, are kind of weird and weirdly paced. I guess this show would only really be for like die-hard fans. Even I'm finding it kind of hard to drudge through it, you know. So.
Wow, that says a lot coming from you.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'm sure you've given it plenty of runway, and if it's kind of waning a little bit, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm already this far in. Oh God.
Kind of like this is kind of like your Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, this really is.
Except it's at least it's a little better.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
But
as someone who is a survivor of Orange is the New Black.
But aside from that, I did watch a new movie. Now, this is kind of leading into a different topic, but I watched this anime movie in theaters.
Oh, big surprise.
I should have been prepared for that.
Spirited Away.
It wasn't Spirited Away. It was called Promare, and it was brand new. And I was surprised when I went to the theater. It was really packed, like really packed. I actually had to change seats because there was some error with our seating, and
how was the smell? I don't want to talk about it.
Actually, it was kind of weird. It was definitely more girls than guys, I think, in my theater.
Is that the reason why everybody wears those masks?
What mask?
Oh, like the surgery masks?
Yeah.
No, that's for them being, well, from what I'm told, that is supposed to be them being polite when they are sick, not because they're afraid of getting everyone else sick.
Or maybe they're sick.
Or they're...
You know?
Yeah, like sick with a Q, or...
Yes.
All right, but for those who don't know about Promare, Ben.
Oh, I thought.
I thought you were gonna tell us.
Please
Oh no, I don't know anything.
No,
sorry,
go ahead, David.
No. I'm asking for people who don't know because I already obviously
Okay,
know.
here it
but I'm
goes.
just doing it for their benefit.
Here we go. Promare, high school transfer student, comes to a new school, and all the guys are really into her because she has giant boobs.
Wait, Stu, which
That's
one did you go to?
I was sitting right next to you.
Oh, that's right.
You were the guy I had the seat conflict with.
Oh yeah, that's right. But yeah, the theater was really packed. Sorry, right, the plot. So, if I'm remembering correctly, on Earth, a long time ago, there was a incident where a whole bunch of people just started combusting into flames, and then suddenly they could just control fire and burn everything to a crisp. Many years later,
Nice.
people figure out a way to combat it, and everyone condemns them, and now there's like elite firefighting squads that have to deal with these kind of people that can control fire, and it follows the adventures of a particular group of firefighters that has to deal with this terrorist burning group. Now,
I've seen this. This is the one with Dennis Leary in it, right?
yeah, and there's some sort of draft
Rescue
going
Me.
on. Yes, there's a draft. It's all the way in the back.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
I think they called it aft draft. Wait, is that?
I'll call it firefighters going into a building and fighting it.
The fire
Backdraft.
The fire that wouldn't slow down.
Is that the plot to Fire Speed 2?
Yes. Cruise control.
The fire that could not slow down. Backfire 2.
Cruise control.
Backdraft 2.
Yeah.
This almost sounded like, to me, the plot for Attack on Titan, where the Titans are these fire things, and the attackers, I don't know what they were called in the show because I stopped watching it, are the firefighters.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, okay. Warning, I'm going to be talking about spoilers for this movie for anyone who cares about it.
But I don't.
Okay, but anyways, it just gets so zany to the point where they find out that the fire that is burning in these people are actually an alien life form from parallel universe, and then they summon a giant robot to go fight it, and then the bad guy tries to open an interdimensional gate to another point in space, and they have to stop him, and then in order to stop him, they make their robot even bigger, as like bigger than the Earth, so that they can ignite the universe or something.
And there's the anime part.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, got really bizarre. But anyways, the point I wanted to get to on this was, although I was most of the time just wondering what the fuck is going on, it was, I mean, some parts were kind of hype. I gotta say, the crowd made it really worth watching. There was a point in the movie, like, for those who are, following along, if you take a look at the poster, you'll see the two main characters. Like, this guy staring down at this other person. When I first saw the poster, I thought the other person, the little scrawny dude, was a girl. But no, it's a guy. And...
What's this movie called? I need to spell it. I don't.
Promare, as in Promare.
I typed it in like 5 times and
It keeps popping up for me.
I got maternity belt. Amazon wants to sell me a maternity belt by Promare.
To keep all your male parts in during your paternity leave.
Oh wait, did I spell? Oh, okay, I spelled it wrong. I spelt it with an I instead of an E. Sue me.
I'm on it.
Promare?
Promare.
No, an I at the end.
Yeah, Promare.
Promare.
Stop. I just see a poster where they're doing like a face-to-face forehead press.
No, click the one on the right of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're doing a forehead press, right? And there's a person with like green hair, right? Or something.
The light
yellow
on
one?
the left?
Oh, that's a dude?
Yeah, that's a dude.
That doesn't surprise me with these anime stuff.
They're
all dudes.
That was really surprising to me. But anyways, point is, at the end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, throughout the movie, those two were like at odds with each other and constantly fighting. And then green-haired dude takes a fatal blow and is dying. And what does blue-haired dude go and do? He runs over to him and gives him CPR. And it's not just regular CPR, like, oh my god, you're dying, chest compressions, and then, like, frantically do it. No, it's so slow and so intimate, and it was just like, oh my god,
So this is like them sneaking in like a
Fan
gay makeout scene.
Yeah, and all the girls in the theater just went crazy. And
I guess that's I guess that's confirms a question I've always thought, where like, do girls find it hot when like dudes are kissing each other?
Well, I guess that's how we reach out to the female crowd. All right, David. All right, Stu, get to it.
All right, let's make some smooching sounds.
This is the ASMR portion.
But yeah, I mean, the crowd really made it, a very good experience. It was just like something so out there.
If those people in the crowd want to watch something like that, they don't need to go watch a full feature-length movie for that.
I mean, the floor did get really moist.
Yeah.
But God. I guess what I wanted to ask was, what was like the best or worst movie viewing experience that you've had? I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to correlate with a good or a bad movie for each, respectively. But I mean, has there been a movie where the crowd really made it enjoyable or, terrible?
Oh yeah, for sure. Endgame.
Oh, yeah.
Was one of the best.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, literally when all of us, well, I don't know if there's anybody listening who hasn't seen Endgame. If you haven't, really, shame on you.
If they haven't seen it by now, they're probably never going to see it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, probably. But like literally, like right at the very end, when Doctor Strange brings everybody back, they start coming through portals and stuff like that. Literally, everybody was just I was just like, it was like this one moment where everybody was on the same page. Everybody was excited and celebrating at the exact same time. That was definitely something I hadn't seen in a movie in a long time. So that made my movie experience really awesome. And then also seeing everybody run to go to the bathroom right after the movies, right after the credits started rolling, and then run right back. Like you could tell who had been sitting there for over to the 3 hours to see the whole entirety of Endgame, to be able to catch the stingers and the after credit stuff. Yeah. So that wasn't just a movie experience. That was a almost like a, I don't know how else to describe
just
it.
an experience.
Yep.
No.
You connected, and in that moment,
yeah,
you
it's
were
a
all
human experience.
You were all
human
one person.
Experience. That's right. We were one.
You were
one thought mind.
Hive mind. Well,
hive mind.
That's usually got some kind of negative connotation to it. So.
Oh, it's okay. We've been brainwashed by Disney, Marvel, and all that stuff. Hive mind sounds about right.
All right. I remember when we saw Endgame in wherever we were. I remember there were parts of it that like everyone got hype at, but like from what you're saying, Ben, it sounded like it was just like constantly like people like going crazy, or.
Just during certain parts,
Okay.
It was definitely a very fan servicey movie.
Right. I mean, yeah, definitely just like the Endgame for sure, and Infinity War too.
Of course, yeah.
But other than that, I mean, my mind gravitated immediately towards negative experiences.
Of course.
Okay, I can already guess what Stu's going to say. Stu doesn't like it when anybody sits next to him. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Well, I mean, yeah. But I wasn't going to say that. I was recalling when I was when I think I went to go see episode 2 in theaters. Star Wars episode 2, I not only had my seat stolen, but I had my seat. I think I left my drink or my popcorn on the seat to like save it, and I went to go get a drink. I don't know why I didn't just get them together. I was an idiot, but and I came back, my seat was gone, or like the whole theater was like full, and my seat was like gone, and therefore so was my popcorn.
Wow. Someone's just sitting there eating it.
Nope, I'm not done yet. So I ended, this is in the early 2000s or mid 2000s. So
yeah, before seat res and stuff.
Yeah, so I had to go in one of the front rows, and I guess it's kind of with the trend. I spilled my soda all over myself. And this wasn't just like a little spill. This was like the whole goddamn cup. And it onto my shorts, and so I'm just sitting there the entire movie with just like freezing cold shorts, and yeah, that was my experience.
I did not know this was already a pre-existing behavior.
Yeah, this isn't anything new. You're just noticing it now.
Oh my God.
So AMC, Edwards, Regal, and Harkins. If you're listening, make sure that there's an option for a sippy cup.
Yeah.
Where they can screw on the lid. That would be extremely helpful.
That'd be ideal. Yeah.
Well, I mean, do they let you bring in like reusable cups and stuff like that, like a tumbler or
a sippy cup,
something? Sippy cup.
Yeah, it can bring a blender bottle maybe.
Oh, I don't know, that clipping top at the front. I don't know if that's
just in the most like in a very suspenseful scene. Hang on, guys, I got some protein. I gotta mix.
Just shaking. Click, 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 click. That'd be great. Like, I really gotta get my my protons in. Well, thank you, Ben, for that. That was actually, I was really curious because that showed up on the AMC app when I was looking for other movies to see this week, and I was like, "What's Promare?" And I'm glad that someone actually got to see it. So, would you recommend it? Like, who would you recommend it to?
People that like anime.
Okay, all right, that's fair. And for me, this week's been pretty much filled with trying to finish up Mindhunter. I am on episode 8 of season 2, halfway through, so I'm almost to the very end. Like you guys have been saying from the very beginning, it's pretty captivating. It can be a little bit slow at the very beginning, But I was really excited to finally, right at the start of the second season, I kind of understood about the one guy who keeps getting flashed at the beginning of almost every episode.
That was you and the cold open jokes we were making.
Oh yeah, that was.
And if you go back to the Dora episode, when I was talking about how the cold open is you at like a grocery store doing stuff, that's what I was referring to.
Oh my goodness! Hey, what was the part? Wait, you didn't say anything about me, tying something to my neck and then to a doorknob and then someone discovering
I
me.
didn't. I stopped because I felt like I was kind of spoiling it a little bit. So
Oh no, it wouldn't have spoiled it. I would probably caught on later on as I was watching the episode, going, "Stu, you."
As you tie yourself to the doorknob.
Oh my goodness! Like, I was like, "What is? Why is the door shaking? Why is the door shaking?" Oh my gosh! And then just kind of like piecing together some of the stuff. I had a couple of other people who told me, yeah, I tried watching it, but it had a little bit of a slow run. And I was just like, yeah, I can kind of see it. But there is a lot of dialogue, but it's very important. I don't think any of the lines are like throwaway lines. It's very... I used to like Holden as a character a lot. And then towards the end, I'm not as big of a fan. I don't know if that's the case for you guys, but... that's definitely starting to kind of become the sentiment for me, but I really like Bill's character a lot.
Bill Tench.
Tench, yeah,
he's definitely very relatable. I mean, holy fuck, just everything that Holden does is just like, god damn it, and then
annoying the shit out of him all the time.
Tench is just like, fuck, I gotta deal with this shit.
Yeah, he's got to clean up his mess.
Yeah, I am Special Agent Bill Tench, not Babysitter Bill Tench. That's what I feel like. And just like how Holden just kind of like holds to his guns and just like says, because he's had like 2 successes, it's almost like it's gotten to his head to the point where he's like, nope. He ignores everything else and he's just like, nope, it's my feeling. That's what, Director Gunn said, blah, 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 all that stuff. And then just like, part of me kind of wants to just jump into the scene and just strangle him. And then I'd be like, well, you wouldn't have
can
seen
be
it.
the mine hunter.
Yeah, I crossed racial lines, bitch.
I'm the mine hunter now.
Look at me. I'm the mine hunter. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I'll probably be done with it by the end of this week. But excellent recommendation. It's been really good. I really enjoyed it. Other than that, that's pretty much it outside of Ad Astra. So that pretty much does it for some of just our general stuff that's going on, some of the movies we've seen in addition to our movie of the week. We're going to jump right into our box office rundown. There are actually some
I'm so disappointed
big surprises. David Chen was right about half of it. I will say I wasn't 100% right because I did not expect this to happen. So,
I'm sick to my stomach looking at this list right now.
I know, but let's get through it as far as we can. Number 1, taking the top spot, unseating Hustlers and It Chapter 2, who had held on to the top spots the previous weeks. Downton Abbey.
Barf.
With $31 million. Like I said before last week, I thought that there was a possibility that it would outperform Rambo because of the cult following it had, but I did not expect this, so I will not be gloating about this because there was no way I was going to put my reputation or whatever the hell else was on the line to be able to say, yeah, Downton Abbey's going to take number 1. I don't think anybody could have, I don't know anybody that would have probably...
I guess
put all their money on that, but I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. But that's
thinking back on it, like I should have known that people like these types of things. I should have known better.
Well, I mean, if there was a Doctor Who movie, I'm pretty sure it would probably perform just as well. And if there's a Doctor Who movie that comes out, I'm taking credit for it.
I mean, I could see Doctor Who. I just didn't realize Downton Abbey was on that same level.
Echelon? Well, I don't think so, because I think Downton Abbey might be one tier right below that, but it's because it's a, BBC property.
Why are we so infatuated with anything that is British?
It's British? I don't know. But
we gotta watch the Queen thing or like the wedding and Now this. What's next?
Well, it's because it's kind of like our past, right? I mean, if there was no Britain, there'd be no America. That's what I'm going with. Don't quote me on that. All right.
You know what's
number
also
two.
you know what's also
What?
in our past, David? The
Slavery.
Civil War.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, that was a pretty
I was
good
gonna say
movie.
slavery, but
I said slavery. I mean,
Okay.
that's not wrong. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not
it's
like we're
not.
saying that we're not ignoring.
we're not
things
we're not infatuated with slavery though. So.
Well, I don't know. How many movies did we have about the slave trade? Amadeus. There was 12
Yeah, but
Years a
that's
Slave.
just-
that's
there was
like
Django
historical.
Unchained.
Amadeus.
What the fuck?
What was it? Sorry.
Wait,
What
what
was
the
movie?
fuck?
Amadeus Unchained.
No. It's Django Unchained. Amadeus was a different movie. Or was that
Amadeus
something-
was the movie about Mozart.
What was? What's the one I'm thinking of?
I thought you were mistaking it for Django Unchained.
No. I know Django Unchained. There was a movie that started with an A that was a slave
Oh,
movie.
Armitage or Arma something.
All right, you guys look that up and
Amadeus.
fix. Not Amadeus. That's Amadeus. Armadeus?
Episode title: Amadeus Unchained. Amadeus Unchained.
Maybe you're thinking of Armageddon.
Oh,
No.
yeah, that classic slavery movie.
Yeah, where they take a bunch of slaves to an asteroid so they can blow it up.
Oh, Amistad. Sorry.
Amistad, that's right.
Sorry. They both start with A, and that's as far as I got. So, speaking of other A movies, number 2 on our list is Ad Astra with 19 million. Number 3, Rambo: Last Blood, 18 million. So that's interesting that those 3 movies, brand new, actually unseated previous champions, I guess is what we're going to call them, or previous number 1s through 5. Number 4 is It Chapter 2 at 17 million. Hustlers drops from number 2 all the way down to number 5 with 16.8. Lion King down one spot only.
Lion King,
Once
please.
again, still, I told you guys before, like, I was not surprised if it stuck around in that same 5 or 6 spot. Just, I don't know why, but it's just not going anywhere. $2.6 million. Number 7 is Good Boys, down from number 4 with 2.6. Angel Has Fallen falls from number 3 all the way to number 8. 2.4 million. Overcomer down from 7, now down to 9, 1.5 million. Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, down from 6, moves all the way down to number 10. Falling out of the top 10 is Dora and the Lost City of Gold, The Peanut Butter Falcon, The Goldfinch. And I guess there's an honorable mention up here. Number 29 on our list is the movie that Ben saw, Promare.
Hey,
Yeah, so number 29, top 30. Top 30.
not bad.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a couple of names that we recognize that are still outside the top 10. Angry Birds, Once Upon a Time in
What is up with your
Hollywood.
obsession with Angry Birds?
Yeah, I was gonna
Well,
say.
I'm just naming
No,
them
you
because
bring
they
this up
were in there
every
before.
week. It's always Angry
Every
Birds.
episode,
At the end,
Angry
it's like,
Birds too.
Yeah, hey guys, what do you guys want to watch next week? You know, Angry Birds is still in theaters. You know, it's just if you guys want to watch it. You know.
Spider-Man: Far From Home and Toy Story is also up there in the top. That rounds up our top 20.
So no answer.
roughly
Huh?
speaking.
All right, that's cool.
just to sweep it under the rug.
So, gentlemen, top 3: Downton Abbey, Ad Astra, which was the movie of the week, and Rambo: Last Blood.
I mean, I think the
What is?
I think the
Yeah, go
order's a
ahead.
little off from what I wanted to see, but
Wait,
I think Downton Abbey should be number 3. But that's just me.
wait. So, what was the bet last week?
My bet was Downton Abbey would outperform Rambo: Last Blood. It had nothing to do with Ad Astra because I
Yeah.
thought that was I thought we all were all in agreement that was a foregone
Yeah.
conclusion.
So maybe
Ad
they
Astra
cancels
should have
each other
taken
out
number
or
one.
something. I don't know. But I think the bet.
Really, you think the
I think
the
I think the
people
bet
who are-
was chicken sandwiches or something.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't remember.
Damn it.
But you know what? That's the thing is, I'm saying that yes, I was right that Downton Abbey outperformed Rambo, but because of the fact it beat out Ad Astra, I'm canceling what I said. That's why I can't.
The bet's
I can't
off.
take it. I can't take
It's a-
any credit if that's
a push.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a push.
Like, everybody gets their money back. I mean, their chicken sandwich back. You go buy your own damn chicken sandwich.
Until the next
But yeah,
time.
no, that's absolutely surprising, and it's not even like it's close.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's a $12 million difference between Downton Abbey, and then the next two.
Yeah.
So
it is very close to almost double.
Yeah, that's that's absolutely surprising to me. But I guess maybe I don't know. I'm trying to like loop in what Stu is saying is that, maybe Ad Astra and Rambo cancel each other, but I could hardly believe that the people who are going to go see Ad Astra were like deciding if they were going to see that or Rambo. I don't know. Do you think that the audience is the same?
I think the same maybe the problem was that the same type of audience goer, the movie goer, who would have been likely to see either Ad Astra or Rambo got split between the two, while everyone who wanted to see Downton Abbey went to see Downton Abbey.
Well, I mean, if you think about the rating system for those three, I guess it makes sense in terms of general audience. If, I know this is a Ben thing, but Downton Abbey is PG, Ad Astra is PG-13, and Rambo is rated R.
Oh, so we're taking this tiny sample size to let Ben be right?
Yeah. I like confirmation bias. Yeah. No, what was really surprising...
Let him keep...
Sorry.
Stu, if you don't know what I'm doing here, I'm building him up to the point where he thinks that it's always that way. We're holding
Okay.
Fording him at this point.
Holding Fording? I was like,
Wow. What was really surprising about this was that, well, I mean, if we're looking at the numbers, Rambo opened in the most theaters. Ad Astra opened in the middle amount of theaters at the top three. And Downton Abbey opened in the least amount. And...
What?
Yeah. Downton Abbey opened in the least amount of theaters and pretty much doubled the average of Rambo and Ad Astra.
Were those theaters like Dodger Stadium or something? Like
I don't know.
Like Staples Center? Like,
I don't know, but it was very surprising. But, we'll see if has this kind of staying power. I feel like everybody that's wanted to see this movie has already seen it. And so next week, I would not be surprised if this fell to number like 8 or 9.
I'm gonna go against my last week's prediction and say that this stupid movie's gonna stay in the top three.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Stu on this. So if David loses next week's bet, he will get every subscriber a chicken sandwich.
Yep. So hurry up and subscribe, everyone.
Yep.
Holy crap! All right, sure. If I can see you, and I'll buy you a chicken sandwich.
Cool, because nothing is opening next
from
week.
McDonald's.
No, you're gonna take them to Popeyes and be like, "Oh shoot, they don't have them. Oh,
geez.
sorry.
Oh, jeez. They don't have the chicken sandwich anymore." Wait, is there any big movies that are coming out next week?
I think it's just gonna be Rambo.
Yep.
As far as like what we haven't seen or what we want to see.
Yep. So somebody's getting fucked. Somebody's getting fucked.
I thought you were saying somebody's getting pho. I was like, who's getting pho?
Good. Hey, who's getting pho?
Which one of y'all getting pho?
Which one of y'all getting pho?
David's getting us pho because he's gonna lose now.
I want to open a pho restaurant called Get Pho.
Huh.
Get it like a KT, like after Get Pho apostrophe KT.
Wow. I'd go there.
This is the quick pho announcement. Pho update. They opened a Pho King near my house. So I when I went there, I was kind of like giggling to myself whenever I heard just like these like,
hey, welcome to a Pho King.
Completely oblivious, like like little old ladies or whoever just walking by, just talking, "Oh, Pho King," and I was just like, "You just said a bad word."
Got him.
So, all right. Well, that pretty much does it for our box office rundown. Just kind of wrap things up. So, Ben and Stu are both believing that Downton Abbey will stay in the top 3. I think it'll probably drop in the bottom 3. So probably 7, 8, 9.
I mean, we'll go ahead and just give you not the
5.
top 3.
Okay, that's fine. I appreciate that. So we'll see if Downton Abbey has some staying power. So that pretty much does it for our box office rundown and our general reviews. We'll be right back with our movie of the week, Ad Astra. Stay tuned.
We'll come on down to fucking.
Come on down to fucking. Take advantage of our 2-for-1 fucking specials.
It's fucking unbelievable. That's our fucking guarantee.
I saw my whole family at fucking. I don't know.
It's a fucking good time. Oh yeah, what's the plan for Breaking Bad?
I don't know. I completely forgot that it was the 12th. When I was texting Orville, but I don't know. I mean, where's it at? Where's it at again?
It's in L.A.
The Houston.
The Alamo Draft
What is it
House.
called? Alamo Draft House.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, I mean, I was looking at the times that Orville suggested, and I mean, one of them was in the early afternoon, but I didn't know what our plan was. I mean, are we gonna, like, do shit up there? Are we just going there for the movie? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, if we ultimately, if we have to end up drafting on that day, then hopefully it can just be earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, I would say we could go and hang out in the thing and at the place.
Yeah.
Where's it at? Where is it at exactly? I thought I was.
I actually
Alamo
don't
Draft
know.
House.
Look it up, because I've never been there before, and I actually don't know what the atmosphere is like. I don't know how the crowd's gonna be because it's a limited release. You know, I don't know if it's gonna get crazy. I mean, you get there early, but it's on 7th Street in LA. So, where is that?
Oh, look, it's not that far from Little Tokyo. How about that?
Oh my god, it's like. Oh
How did that
god.
happen?
Oh my god, man, we could. Well. Yeah, I mean.
Do we need to wear suits? And is there gonna be a red carpet?
No, probably
And,
not. That's probably going to be, the time I originally picked out.
Oh, fucking David.
I know. Because that showing might have had people actually go to it. But
Yeah, like Aaron Paul.
no, I'm serious. People might have actually gone to that one.
I know.
It's
That's why I'm so disappointed that we're not going to that one.
yeah, but nope. Had to make time for some fucking idiot. I mean, fucking idiot.
Come on down to fucking Idiot, where David will ruin your plans to see celebrities at a movie.
Enter code
at a
David
movie
Chen
premiere.
at checkout.
Yeah. David will be. I like this ad. This will be a good ad for when David comes back.
Yeah, this is the Dunk on David Power Hour, or the Dunk on David
Power minute.
Power Minute, Hot Minute, the Dunk on David Hot Minute. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh damn it! What happened?
You just got slam jammed.
Oh god.
The alley oop.
I guess I'll hear it when I'm editing this episode.
Yep.
And welcome back to the Dos and a Half Cincos podcast. We're going to be going right into our movie of the week, Ad Astra. Ben, what is Ad Astra about?
In the not too distant future, a surge of unknown energy threatens all life in the universe. Astronaut Roy McBride ventures across the solar system to unravel the mysteries of its origin by turning his gaze to the stars.
By turning his gaze at Astra.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said.
Yep.
Ad Astra.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
I really thought that he was going to do another one that he did with Hustlers.
I was hoping
in a distant universe, Michael Jordan is
galaxy far away.
Well, it wasn't a galaxy
Monstars.
He's faced with a challenge against the Monstars, and is tasked with collecting a unlikely set of heroes to take down the league's greatest basketball players to save the universe.
Honestly, I mean,
Ad Astra game.
wow.
Add all Astra game. To the All-Star game.
Wow.
To the Ad Astra game.
Yeah.
I mean,
To the
honestly,
Astrodome.
Before I said that, I kind of went on Google and just did a random number generator, and if it was an odd or even number, it would determine if I was going to give you the real one or the fake one. So keep you on your toes, dude.
I'm really, really glad that I didn't prepare one, because that was choice, because the one I came up with was
I thought you just
god awful.
I thought you just weren't gonna do Brad Pitt like that, but
I
guess not.
Well, I mean, no, Google wouldn't allow us to do Brad Pitt.
Google's
like that.
always listening.
So yeah, well, since Ben gave us that nice synopsis, Stu, what are your thoughts?
Oh boy, oh man, I'm so not prepared for what my thoughts are on this movie. I really liked it. However, I might be able to see how some people might not have liked it or may not have enjoyed it as much as I did.
Okay.
I think it does a lot, like, because I'm very much into. I'm sure a lot of people are into like space and space exploration and all that stuff. So this movie was very much up my alley. I think it did a lot of had a lot of good visuals in it. I think it, like, you know, I don't want to. We'll get into those later for the spoilers, but a lot of good visuals. I think it did a really good job conveying a lot of the like some of the things that would go with like exploring like deep space. So if you're into like space stuff, I think you would really like it. If you're not much into space stuff, I think I could see where someone would not really be into it.
Okay.
On the other side of that coin, I actually agree with your assessment of the movie. I really liked it, but at the same time, I could see why people wouldn't like it. But I would say that if you are interested in space or movies about space, science fiction, this might not be the movie for you. There's definitely a lot of points in the movie where, I mean, I guess the scientific background of each incident in the movie might not make sense, and it could definitely throw some people off. There's definitely not I don't think there was too much of an emphasis on, you know, the logic of space travel. I mean, there were some, but it didn't play too heavily into the movie, I don't think. It was 50-50 for me, but I feel like a person going into this movie might not like it because they were misled by marketing, saying that it was a Brad Pitt film about him going into space and dealing with something to do with science fiction, or more geared towards a science fiction story, where in reality it's not. And we'll get to that in spoilers, but just a fair warning for people going into this movie with that mindset.
Yeah, if you're expecting like something that has to do with more science fiction, you'll be disappointed.
Yeah, what Ben said.
Yeah, so for me, I feel actually I'm in the minority. I wasn't a huge fan of it.
So you're that person we're talking about.
Yes.
You idiot.
And the way you guys explained it.
Uncultured swine.
Oh man, now we can really dunk on David.
I feel like I wanted to like this movie because of the fact that Brad Pitt's in it, and I feel like his choices in movie that he usually picks in the last, several films that he's been in have all been really, really well done. I'm comparing, unfortunately, his acting will be compared to his role that he played in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and he was extremely dynamic. And then in this, I feel like he's, to an extent, I feel like he's kind of overshadowed by the anticipation and the hope that this movie is. I don't know. It just made it feel like this movie was supposed to be bigger than it actually was. And maybe that's like Ben, like you said, like it's maybe like the trailer's fault, and I'm basing a lot of stuff based on what I saw in the trailer. I thought we were gonna see a lot more action. Would probably be the word.
Yeah,
What,
that's right.
lights, lightsabers and space blasters and
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, I see a lot of the elements that you guys enjoyed a lot of. I mean, the movie does a really, really good job in conveying this sense of what space really is, right? It's lots of
space.
And there's not
A lot of nothingness.
and there's not much, yeah, just nothingness, and that you're almost out and alone. And that is one part that is difficult to kind of wrap your head around a little bit, especially since, you know, all of us are still on Earth, and not very many people get to venture out into the great beyond. So, but besides that, I think I was, to an extent, a little bit misled, so that's a reason why I'm kind of knocking it. But in and of itself, if I hadn't seen anything of it, I can kind of understand like the direction and what they were trying to get to, but I feel like it maybe missed the mark just slightly, and that's why I wasn't as enthusiastic of it as much as you guys were.
Yeah, so I mean, to go a little more into why I liked it so much. Well, first of all, like you said, Brad Pitt. Well,
Brad Pitt. End of story.
yeah, I mean, I don't
He
know.
picks his roles pretty carefully.
Yeah, I really liked his performance. I mean, he was stoic throughout the whole movie when he needed to be, and oh my gosh, when we get into spoilers, I do want to talk about like some of his scenes that he has. It's crazy. I don't know. It's just the little nuances that he gives about his, just his facial expressions was incredible. But aside from that, it felt like a noir. You know, it was most of the movie was very quiet. It was mysterious. You didn't know what really was going on. It was very introspective. And Brad Pitt, narrating, giving like speculation as to what's going on through his mind, through like the events surrounding him. It was, it really kept me on edge. But
Yeah, I think for me that was also one of the reasons why I liked it. Part like because, like how David was saying, he was expecting some like almost like a more sci-fi or more maybe more actiony. Where I actually appreciated that it wasn't that, like it wasn't like just like constant action sequences or and this kind of stuff. So that was one of the what you said, like a lot of, it's very introspective.
Yeah, so overall speaking, I mean, based on what I have, I probably won't be giving it the best of scores, so I'll start off with you guys. Ben, score?
I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Stu?
I also have written down here 8 out of 10.
Ooh.
I'm going to give it a 5.
Boo.
All right. Everyone, this will be David's last episode on the podcast because he literally just rated Dora the Explorer better than Ad Astra.
Oh, wait. Oh, fuck, I forgot Dora. Can I redo my score?
For Dora?
No.
Oh, yeah, sure.
He wants to say Ad Astra
Didn't you already
7.
give Dora a 10 or something?
No, he gave Dora, I think, a 7.
Yeah, I'm going to give Dora a 9.
Okay.
That's the same score.
That's the score I would have expected you to give Dora. So, in my mind, we're all good. It's a valid adjustment.
Trust me, this was not easy for me to give it a 5.
It's not easy for us knowing you
to listen.
Wait,
to
why
say that.
is it so difficult for you to give it 5? Is it because that you wanted to like it, or is it because you're
I
afraid
wanted to like
that
it.
we were going to say, wow, David, I can't believe you gave it a 5, and now we're going to dunk on
Oh
you?
no, I already knew. I already knew you guys were gonna say I can't believe you gave it a 5, and I can't believe you done this.
I mean, I can't.
I really wanted to like it. I really did. Based on the things that I saw in the trailer, and based on how I have an affinity for like, Brad Pitt's movies. That usually that's always been a good time.
You can just say Brad Pitt.
I
You
have an affinity for Brad Pitt. I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, who
Yeah,
doesn't?
really.
So, but I just think if we're looking at all of the movies that Brad Pitt's been in, he's done way, way, way better.
There's
I mean,
also
in
a
terms
couple
of
stinkers in there.
Yeah, I know, but
like the one
I
where he
think,
was like a fitness person.
but
I
this
actually
is the
like that
thing.
movie.
We're talking about the movie, right? We're not talking about his performance. I think
That's
if
true.
we were to separate them on their own, I think his performance in portraying the role that he was given and I don't know, I guess the story that's going, I would give him an 8.
Okay.
But I think just overall as a movie, I think it was marketed incorrectly. I think that's one, and then the second one is, yes, Brad did a really good job, but I feel like the stories, it's not enough. I feel like to be able to justify all the hype that was kind of behind it. That's pretty much where it comes down to, and boils down to.
Okay, fair enough.
I guess yeah. I mean,
Because
I kind of anticipated someone possibly voicing this type of opinion, so I guess it was David.
Yeah. But I can understand why you'd be confused why I gave Dora a higher score, because Dora, it didn't take itself so serious. I think it was mostly
Like,
because
you
Ad
knew what-
Astra,
you knew what you were getting.
yeah, it doesn't take itself seriously. It was just out to have a good time, and it's like, hey, we're gonna throw a bunch of jokes at you, and we know that maybe 1/3 of the audience is gonna get half of them, the other third is gonna get less than a half, and then there's another third of the audience who's gonna probably laugh at everything but not particularly understand why they're laughing at it. So there's that. But I feel like Ad Astra was wanting to be something that's very serious and kind of has like the social commentary behind it that kind of like, we'll talk about it in the spoilers, but I just think that it missed the mark, and that's the reason why I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Oof. All right. Well,
So
fair enough.
Yeah. So I mean, we all have a little. Well, I have a different opinion than you guys, so that gives us a little bit of something to talk about. So that pretty much finishes up our general review about Ad Astra. Obviously, it's one thing. It definitely gets us talking. It's definitely a polarizing movie. So that's definitely something that I'm sure that they were okay with. So we're going to move into the spoiler zone. So if you haven't seen it and you want to see it,
what's the rent on the spoiler zone there? We're moving into it.
Oh.
What rant?
Oh.
Rent. The rent. So, man. Sorry, I'm trying to... I'm anticipating us fading out right now as we're going into the spoiler zone. So.
Don't really
So
remember.
you've been warned. This is a spoiler zone. We're gonna be talking about things in depth, and if you're looking forward to actually seeing this movie, definitely skip this portion. And
Or not. Or you can listen to it.
let's get into it. Stu, it seemed like you had something that you wanted to talk about. So
I
shoot.
do. I have a couple, actually, but I'm going to start with this one. So one of the things I mentioned that I really liked was the visuals. A lot of the visuals, starting from in the first act when he's on Earth, to the second and kind of I guess it was kind of I don't know if it's maybe in the second act when he's first on the moon and then he's on Mars, and then in the final act where he's orbiting Neptune.
Yeah.
I thought it was they did like a very good job of like kind of bringing you to these different these different planets, showing you, I mean, obviously we're on Earth, so but specifically one of the things I really liked was when he's on Mars, how everything for me, like, if I felt like I was being suffocated by like just how like dingy and dirt, like the red haze was everywhere, the tiny little like corridors they're all walking in, like that's how I would imagine like a Mars base would be. So I felt like I was very immersed in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, even the room that he was in to send that message, it was very claustrophobic. With what was it, that material on the wall? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, the sound dampening material.
But it almost looked like it wasn't made out of the stuff that we'd be using here. It
It's
was almost
future.
like it was hard,
It
right?
was future
No,
material.
Yeah.
I think the way it looks like is, to me, the way I interpreted that scene was almost like the Mars like colony was almost kind of like not slapped together, but almost kind of like makeshift. Like they were digging stuff out of the trenches, like like it's not like this beautiful
Right.
like futuristic like. It's like this is what it would look like if we were to bring like the most primitive tools that we could to be able to go onto Mars, dig a freaking trench, you build a thing over it, and then like you see like the people who are working there. It seems like it's almost like the poverty people, almost like it's a third world country almost.
Poverty Squad.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
Shout out to Suicide Squad.
yeah, go
Right.
get your tickets this week then for Suicide.
Right,
but-
like I mean, it's supposed to have like this like future of promise and blah blah blah, but it's like completely bleak and it's completely opposite of
Yeah,
that. So
and
that's the feeling I got.
That's what I would expect, and that's kind of another thing that was about this movie that I liked was that it was futuristic, but at the same time it was very much based in kind of like reality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
So-
that's I would expect that's like the Mars Ursa base. That was our in this movie. That's our like most like our furthest or that's like our last like station before it's just nothingness, and that's how I would expect a base like that to look like. So
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, so I mean, that's what I did like about the movie, the journey of it. The further that Brad Pitt goes, you notice civilization slowly starts to deteriorate away. Everything recognizable, everything just becomes so bleak and desolate. You start off on Earth, you move on to the moon, and even the moon had shops and everything. Shout outs in the future. We still have Yoshinoya. So,
Oh, dang it. I was going to say that I saw that and
Shout
I
out
wrote
to
it down. I wrote it in my notes. I'm like, by the way, there's Yoshinoya on Mars.
Oh, on the moon.
it's not all bad.
Yeah, on the moon.
On the moon. Yeah, so even on your space vacation on the moon, you can still enjoy the traditional Yoshinoya teriyaki bowl with the teriyaki chicken and the beef.
And don't forget to get your
Not-
space blanket and pillow for only $125.
Yeah, credits or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, what
That was
heck?
another little like dig at like the reality of it, where it's just like inflation has just like gone out of control.
Yeah.
It's just
That is going to be an interesting future. But going back to what I was saying, as soon as they got to Mars, like what you were saying, it's very desolate. It's very makeshift. It's just hacked together. It seems like something that they just recently put together, so it doesn't have a lot of the great features that a civilized area would have. Like
and
third world place.
and just that one, there was that one scene where after he first arrived, where he's like in that hallway, and it's just has this red kind of like this red or like kind of like a burnt orange hue, and that was such like that was so aesthetic to me, because just like I feel like I'm on this like miserable lonely Mars base.
Yeah, like in that hallway, right, when he meets that girl.
Yeah, in the hallway.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then finally,
And then there's like this separation that she can't go any further, and he's just like on his own kind of thing.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. I mean, definitely when he went to finally gets to Neptune, that's when it really hits you with the just the blue lonely planet out there.
Oh man, that was actually I was one of my second. That was like the Mars sequence, the whole Mars scene, and then also when he arrives at Neptune, orbiting the Lima project. That was like, oh man, like it feels so cold.
Yeah.
And like I feel so alone in this scene, because it's just like it's just that you're there, and there's Neptune just kind of staring at you. And yeah, that was one of the other visuals that was I was very taken by.
I feel like this movie would have really done really well in that Dolby Digital kind of set, like an
IMAX, you mean?
Yeah, but if they had just tweaked it slightly, so that as he was moving toward like further and further out, like the temperature in the room started dropping.
Oh, like 4D experience.
Yeah. And then, because like I know like Dolby Digital, like sometimes when you have that like the explosion, like your seat like kind of rumbles because it's so loud in there and stuff like that. So I was kind of like, based on what you were telling me, maybe that would have probably improved a lot of the movie, because that would have probably put things more in perspective. Yeah. But as you guys are kind of talking about it now, like I wish, like this is the part of the movie that I do like, is that it kind of gets us able to kind of talk about stuff besides like, oh man, I really like this part of the story. Like the fact that we have so many different locales that are so dynamically different from each other, that, and additionally, did you guys notice that the gravity was slightly different in all of the situations?
Yeah, that was really neat. I really liked it during the scenes.
Yeah, when he was like driving on the moon versus when he was on Mars, and then when he was nearby Neptune, and then he was trying to like get back to his own craft. Like, you could tell, like, there was some element that they considered all of those things to try to be able to provide that element of realism, that it's not just like, oh, this is a sci-fi movie, just believe whatever you're believing. Part of me was really, really nervous. I was like, dude, there's a chance this guy might not be able to make it back based on the way that this movie is going. He might not be able to make it back home. And I'm like, dude, he's gonna miss the shuttle, and then just gonna keep flying past it, and that's it.
Yep.
He's dead. He's gone, and he's gonna be just like his dad. But that was the part that kind of like threw me for a loop at the very end. Is like, I get it that his dad's been out there all by himself for so long, and he's kind of like gone crazy. But if that's the payoff, that was the payoff. That's the reason why I was so disappointed at the end of the movie.
What about it? I guess
that it wasn't like something like had gotten a hold of his dad, or like something like, it was the fact that we require as human beings physical like contact with other people, and having contact with, being able to not just only touch somebody but also to talk to them, have somebody to socially interact with. And that's what caused him to go crazy, and that's the element that we can't ignore, right? No matter how far away, how different his dad was saying, like, oh, you and me, Roy, we're different than everybody else. We should have been the ones that were exploring the ends of the world or the ends of the universe, that kind of thing. But then it wasn't anything like they ate or anything like that, or like he was intercounted like some like weird substance. But we kind of got a little bit of foreshadowing when they ran into the SOS, like they went to go save that other ship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ran into the monkey because, human beings and primates are very similar. So those primates went crazy being out in space, not having, things that they were familiar with, like gravity, for example. And it just drove them nuts. And then so that kind of like foreshadows the fact that his dad's also in the same situation. So I can kind of understand where the movie was kind of pointing towards, and that like the answer that we're looking for, I think like the tagline for the movie is what the answers we seek are just outside our reach. And the answer is, as a human being, we, as isolated as we can be, as different as Roy can be, as different as his dad was, right? That they were like saying like, oh, your pulse has never gone over 80, right? Ever in any mission or anything like that. That no matter how abnormal someone may be, or how special they are to be able to tackle these kind of missions, nobody is exempt from the basic human condition that we need other people, period.
Right. So, actually, I did actually want to talk about that. So you're saying that you're a little disappointed because the idea that the main point of the conflict in the movie stemmed from something so basic that something like human contact, or just communing with other humans, right?
Correct.
And it wasn't something like, oh, alien. He did find extraterrestrial life out there. His main objective of his mission, right? Something more sci-fi, something more action-packed, something something a little more gripping.
But I feel like that's the way that this movie was supposed to be portrayed. That I was tricked into thinking that there was like laser guns and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I mean, come on. I mean, if you look at the trailer, what are you expecting, right?
Yeah,
you have a shot of Tommy Lee Jones, and like, oh, we don't know what your father found in this Lima project. And I'm like, Lima's short for what? They don't even explain that, but it sounds really zany and sci-fi. And then all of a sudden, the next picture is like space pirates. You never hear space pirates ever again. Why was that not part of a thing? Well, because they don't go past. Like, see what I'm saying is like, if it was just about like, we understand like there's an eternal struggle to be able to kind of like to find out who you are, define who you are as a human being, and then he realizes that we're in part kind of defined by the interactions that we have, and we develop who we are based on the other people that we interact with. And if you don't have that, you become almost like a Martian, right? You become an alien of your own. And that the alien he found at the very end was, himself. His father found it that he was the alien at some point. and that's why he couldn't bear to go home. So I don't know, maybe that's if this movie was built as more like a psychological thriller that's in space, no questions down, hands down, no question, 8 out of 10. Because I think that's the way it should have been portrayed. But the way it was built was supposed to be.
So you're faulting the movie for bad marketing, basically.
I mean, isn't that kind of half the premise? Is if like you're telling me that it's supposed to be, it's kind of like the same thing we talked about in I think episode 2 about Jennifer's body or Megan Fox's body, right? You go in thinking that it's going to be a movie about vampires. Somebody tells you it's a movie about vampires, and you're like super psyched for it, and then you're like, well, shit, this is not anything I was expecting.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, I went into John Wick 1 not knowing what the fuck I was walking into, and I was extremely pleasantly surprised. So,
right,
but it kind of gives you what you're expecting. But like,
well, that's the thing. I hadn't seen any trailers. I didn't know really what it was supposed to be about, other than just a guy and is getting something revenge on it for his dog or something. So
Yeah, so I mean that's on the flip side, but I do see where David's coming from because there have been like multiple instances of this happening in the past, and honestly, this misleading marketing does not really fare well for the movie and the experiences I've seen. Have you guys heard of a movie called The Bridge to Terabithia?
Yes, I've heard of the name, but I never actually saw the movie.
Okay.
Likewise.
Okay, well, you've probably seen like ads or something about it. Like, do you guys know what it's about? Like, if you were to just give a wild guess. No, stop typing. God damn it.
Is it a fantasy movie?
Yeah, that's what I would have guessed. Like, it's almost like Lord of the Rings, but a bridge to Terabithia.
Oh, okay. Well, guess what? You're wrong.
Is it a I'm
looking it up.
Is it a political thriller?
No, it's
the life of Jesse, an adolescent, changes when he befriends Leslie, the class outsider. The children create an imaginary world called Terabithia, which is inhabited by all manners of magical creatures.
Right.
Though difficulties fill their ordinary lives, Jesse and Leslie rule as king and queen in Terabithia. Soon one of their friends must draw on the strength of their imaginary kingdom to cope with the tragedy.
Right.
What?
Yeah, so all the marketing was pointing to this movie being like this was all hot off the heels of I believe the Chronicles of Narnia. So it was all the marketing was kind of pointing toward that, kids in a fantasy world where they can do wherever, right? You go into the movie and guess what happens? Oh, it's about these kids dealing with like abusive households, and they run away into the forest, and guess what? One of them fucking dies. And now it's a really depressing story about how one kid just keeps going back into their imaginary player world so he can play with that girl. Great.
Oh, with his friend.
Yeah, so...
Actually, I Googled it, and the first thing that came up is, why is Bridge of Terabithia banned? Bridge to Terabithia was the dubious distinction of being one of the most frequently banned or challenged books in the U.S., supposedly because of its references to witchcraft and atheism and a lot of swearing.
Oh, cool.
Was there a lot of swearing in this PG movie?
I don't think so. Just abusive households.
Oh my goodness. But I mean, isn't that kind of the premise of the Chronicles of Narnia, is that they escape because they're like not happy? Well, obviously they're not getting beaten to shit, but
yeah, but I mean, I believe there was a war going on, wasn't there? Or something at the beginning, and like pretty much that was only at the beginning of the story, and the rest of the story was just them in Narnia and Mr. Tumnus and shit. I don't know.
True.
Yeah, so,
but yeah, it's more about the story. It's like you're saying Bridge of Terabithia is more about their escape, but it happens to encircle this realm or this world. Their escape is Terabithia, but Chronicles of Narnia is more about Narnia. They just happen to get there by escaping something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so another similar thing happened with a movie called Drive, if you guys have heard of that.
Oh, yeah, I know about that one.
Yeah, so there were a lot of people pissed about watching Drive because the marketing gave it away like something like Fast and the Furious.
Fast and the Furious?
Yeah.
And it turns out it's closer to, what was that movie with Jason Statham? Wait, is that Driver?
Wait, what?
Death Race?
No.
Spy.
Transporter?
The Transporter, that's
No, it's not like Transporter at all.
It was
I thought a lot of people liked Drive, though.
Yeah.
Or is that not?
I liked it.
I like Drive. No, the Drive is more like Actually, I would say it's more like Ad Astra. It's very quiet
okay.
and mysterious, and
Okay, so this is like the flip side of the coin, where you go into it and you end up liking it.
yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing. A lot of people didn't like Drive because they were misled into it, thinking it was going to be
Oh.
like what David thought Ad Astra was going to be, action, like an action movie about the
Man.
subject matter. Like,
Well, even if it wasn't just based on the actual trailers, let's just kind of walk through the first half hour of this movie,
Yeah.
right? He is on the spire. He's on the
The
international
planetary antenna.
Yeah, and then explosion, right?
Yeah.
He blacks out and like falls to the ground pretty much, and then he wakes up. He's completely fine, right? Action.
Yeah.
The second part is then he gets tasked with, oh, there's a secret mission. We need you to go out to go find your father or make contact because we don't know what's happening, what's causing these surges.
right.
Also, kind of like suspense, right? You're building this idea that there's something that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it's a secret mission. Nobody else can know. So they put him on a commercial flight. No frills, that bullshit. Shows up at. I'm surprised he didn't stop by Yoshinoya, but
I think that's going to be in the
that's
extended...
that's the reason why I gave it a 5 out of 10. He didn't stop at Yoshinoya.
Okay, the truth comes out.
He had the same experience as Stuart. Stu, why did you give it an 8? He also didn't get Yoshinoya, just like you didn't.
I'm not Keith.
All right, fine. Keith,
Also, I didn't even.
That? Oh, wait, hold on, wait.
I didn't even cop the
Keith's
Yoshinoya.
here.
So.
Keith is here to do his. What was that? I'm gonna give it a 3 because he didn't stop at Yoshinoya. That was
Why do you sound like
Keith
Mickey
become
Mouse?
he said there wasn't any Yoshinoya.
Wait. Disney's gonna crack down on us. Let's tone it down.
Wait, I was going to do my Goofy impression.
Oh,
What the fuck?
yeah, there wasn't any Yoshinoya. Sorry. But yeah, no. Sorry, I got derailed for a second.
Yeah,
So
super.
he ends up on the moon, right? On the way from the moon, they were supposed to go to this like base on the other side of the planet. So they start driving.
I don't think
Space
it was that
pirates.
far away, but-
Boom. Right. And so action, and then it seems like the further they get away, the more kind of reckless things become. Right, the more they go away from Earth, you're expecting for it to continue to escalate, right? Oh, the space pirates know that there's a VIP on board. So and so dies. They're gonna follow him to a certain point, but then he goes into the darkness. Blah blah blah. Shows up and he goes, okay, we're gonna take you to Mars, and then it's another like serene kind of situation. You're expecting that something's gonna happen, right? And then you get on board with them, and then you're going out to no. This is on the way to Mars. They're flying there. Is that flying?
Sure.
Okay. They're not teleporting. They're traveling to Mars, and then they encounter the monkeys, right? And you're expecting like there's something else that's going to happen. So we have a bunch of action that's building all the way up to the point where you get to Mars, right? You get to Mars. He finds out his father is there. That his father eventually answers him. And then he gets on the shuttle. And then there's a scuffle that ensues, and all the other three are dead, right? And he's like, I have to finish this mission, blah blah blah, to be able to destroy whatever this thing that's causing all the surges. And then literally after that, it becomes this introspective movie about loneliness, pretty much.
Well,
and I'm just like, what?
Well, okay. I will say this. I do have something that that actually deals with your qualms directly. So,
Okay.
The movie in itself, it seemed like it had this theme as he was going on and on, that there's all this mystery about what's going on, right? Like, he's trying to find these answers, and, he has to go so far out, to find these answers, he wants to go so far out to Neptune, pretty much, to solve all the problems of the world, and to hopefully solve his own internal problems, the problems with his father.
Correct.
But as we go on, the movie starts, laying down its real theme, Ad Astra, to the stars, right? Humans have been, going and looking outwards, trying to find answers to all their problems. There has to be more to what we got going on here. And finally, at the end of the movie, we learn that, or I guess Roy, Brad Pitt, he comes to the realization that the answers that we're looking for isn't out there. We've been so concerned about trying to find a deeper meaning behind something when the obvious answer is right in front of you the whole time. So what you're saying, you're expecting all these crazy conflicts, with space pirates, with some sort of extraterrestrial force, something supernatural. But, I mean, the whole movie has been laying out this path for you with all this evidence building up to the obvious outcome, that it was just his father that went crazy, and that he himself was trying to find deeper meaning outside of his own existence by finding extraterrestrial life, because he thinks that he has some sort of answer to find out there. And
he didn't want the answer to be already at home or something like that.
Yeah, he doesn't want to just be at home and just deal with everyday ordinary life. He wants there to be something more to it, but he is disappointed with that answer, so he goes out. He goes on the Lima project, tries to do that. I mean, that theme has been kind of hammered into the movie at that point. The monkey attack that you're talking about, how you were disappointed that it wasn't something else out there. That's another kind of piece of evidence for that theme, where it's the
Instead
astronauts
of it being something.
Yeah, you're expecting it to be something more, like an alien in there or something. But when you get to there, the SOS signal, you've been told multiple times already by the crew, like, hey, this is a research vessel, and they've been dealing with animals. So I mean, the obvious outcome when you go in there is an animal escape. You see the claw marks in there. You see something has escaped. So it's an animal. There's no alien. There's no extraterrestrial life. There's no space pirate. It's just an animal that got loose and killed the crew. Also, when we go into the Lima project, Brad Pitt, the first thing he sees are all these dead bodies around, right? And it's not like they have died of natural causes. They have been suffocated. They've been stabbed or something, right? And Brad Pitt immediately focuses on, that black and white musical that was playing in the background, right?
Man, that was so eerie. That scene.
I know, it was great, because he mentioned that earlier on, right? He said that I miss watching these.
Yeah, he loved the musicals or whatever with his dad.
Yeah, but it kind of speaks to the whole theme of the movie, where humans are looking for something more, some deeper meaning behind everything, right? So he's trying to look past all the obvious answers, that his father is a horrible human being that killed his whole crew because he went mad. But all he sees is this message that, hey, my dad's still around. Maybe he has some sort of explanation for what happened. Maybe there's something else going on here. But
yeah.
And
but so did they ever answer what the surges were being caused by?
I guess it was just by that antimatter that he was dealing with. I guess.
If we're to believe Tommy Lee Jones's character.
Came up with the antimatter?
In his explanation that the remaining members of his crew were basically trying to sabotage the equipment so they could, or I don't know, if something like that. He said they sabotaged the equipment. He tried to stop them, and as a result, they ended up breaking something, and that's what ended up
causing a reverse polarity or something like that.
I don't know. I'm not going to try to pretend I know, but
I thought that he said that they were trying to contact, or they couldn't deal without being with their families or loved ones, right? And they were trying to find a way to contact them, and he said that he tried to stop them, and there was a fight that ensued, and because of that, they messed
something messed up the equipment, and that's what ended up sending out those pulses.
Yeah.
And the whole time since then, he was trying to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
If we were to believe his explanation, which I don't really feel like there's any reason not to, because it didn't seem like he was being disingenuous about anything else.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't lie about killing everyone.
No, didn't he tell him he? Well, he didn't say he didn't kill them either. Yeah. So I mean,
he cut off all communications, and when Brad Pitt arrived, he's like, "Yeah, I killed him. I had to do what I had to do."
Well, I thought it was more because I thought it was because of the fight. But anyways, that the answer to the question is because during the struggle they damaged the equipment, and that's what was causing the pulses.
All right. Well, I mean, I appreciate the explanations, and I definitely see it from your point of view. Like, obviously, it's like I wanted to like the movie, and I'm sure probably when it comes back, when it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray or
Let's
HBO
be real,
or
streaming.
Yeah, streaming. I'll probably end up watching it again, and I'm sure my view of the movie will probably change. But I mean, honestly speaking, at the end of the day, I don't know why he was expecting answers to be out in space when his wife Liv Tyler was still at home. So I wouldn't have left that.
And that's the moral of the story.
Same universe, Armageddon, same universe confirmed.
Yep. And Lord of the Rings also confirmed.
The real answers were the humans we met
along the way.
So, all right. Well, it sounds like we all enjoyed this movie to an extent, and it was definitely
some of us more than others.
Obviously, some of us way more than others. There just wasn't enough Yoshinoya screen time.
Oh, there was
for some people.
There was this funny. Well, I was going through Reddit looking at reactions to the movie, and there was a funny one I found. It said, "What did it say? I liked it, but I feel like I would have liked it more if I hated my dad."
So, all right. Well, on that note, pretty much we're gonna wrap this one up. Ad Astra, go see it. Don't watch the trailer, and let us know how you felt about it.
Wait, hang on. Can we edit this part in before you closed it? I was curious, was it Tommy Lee Jones' character the reason why he decided to bounce when they were trying to escape? It was just because he didn't find the answers he wanted. He decided, well, there's nothing for me then, and just wanted to disappear.
Maybe he was so crazy because he kept thinking that maybe if he kept going further, he might be able to find it. So he figured.
I don't think he was crazy. I don't think he went crazy. I think he was just obsessed.
Yeah, I think that he kind of embodied the point in which Brad Pitt was in his journey, where after Tommy Lee Jones killed himself, Brad Pitt was floating in space, thinking, what's the point? What's what's the point of living anymore? There's no point. But and Tommy Lee Jones was in that same state. He pretty much cut off all humanity, cut out all the life that he led, just so he could try to find some deeper meaning to it out in space. And when he found out that there is nothing out there, he just couldn't take it anymore, and he killed himself.
Which, falling into a planet like Neptune, not the worst way to go, I would say.
Wait, did he fall into Neptune, or did he just go into deep space?
I would imagine, but Neptune's gravity would have pulled him in eventually. But
man, imagine going all the way to fucking Neptune. Like, what was that? Like a 4 or 5 months journey or something like that.
And it's like years journey.
No, I don't think it was years.
What their technology?
4 or 5 months.
They said it was
from Mars to Neptune. The ship said it was like 70 days or something.
Yeah. Imagine going all that distance to have your dad say to you, "You never mattered to me," or "I hate you."
Yeah.
But
the next planet is my son, not you.
I think Brad Pitt kind of knew that, and it seemed like he was probably okay with it to a degree.
It seemed like that's what I liked about the movie. It was like this whole idea that they sent him out because they knew, you're emotionless. You know that we can put you under pressure and you can do anything. And it pretty much he showed time and time again, like no matter what the pressure was, like he was in life or death situations. He was fighting space pirates. He had to land a ship where the captain was unresponsive, and he didn't know really what he was doing. Like he was so calm under pressure. But when it came to something like his father, he tried to fake it, like all the times before. He tried to fake that he wasn't scared under those death-defying circumstances, and it did bother him more than he let on. Like his acting, holy shit! Like when he was finally cracking under all that, like I don't know how he did it, but his eyes, like his brow, his temple was twitching like crazy. Like when he was trying to just be calm and say that, like I don't even remember.
He was trying to do his valuation and Like when he was trying to do his evaluation, or when he was in the recording booth when they got the response?
I think it was the recording booth when
okay.
when he was when he got the suspicion that they got a response. You know, his brow was twitching like crazy, but you could see like he was trying to keep his composure. It was just like, oh my god, how? And then finally, when he meets Tommy Lee Jones, of course, and he says, you know, you never mattered to me at all, and you see that single tear roll down his eyes, and he's just so stoic at the moment. He's like, I know. You know, he's just trying to brush it off, like, yeah, I don't care.
Right.
But you know, deep down inside, you know that he does care to some extent. So.
Like definitely more to an extent that he and the audience would have been led to believe.
Yeah. So definitely a powerhouse performance by Brad Pitt once again.
Also, like, what was in that box in the Lima project? What was it?
Oh, all the data.
No. There was a box. There were like a crate-looking thing. They zoomed in on it a little bit on a couple shots. And it was like, what is that? Is that the antimatter, or what's in that box?
I don't know. Was it the thing they?
Oh, the box that he put the nuclear? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably some just random cargo thing, because the antimatter chamber
But it
was
seemed
like
like
right behind it.
Right, but it seemed like they were focused in the shots. I was so curious. I was okay, what's this box? What's this crate?
You would have thought that nuke would have had some type of, like, I don't know, digital display, and it just says 3 hours, and I was like, what?
No, that's what I liked about the movie. It's what you, Stu, said about all the technology. It's very realistic. It's not too far out there. They didn't go crazy with all the design.
It's not a hologram.
Oh, okay. So
projection.
This is realistic. This is realistic that you could travel from Mars to Neptune in 70 days.
Yes, David.
And then it's the same technology that gets you from Russia to Samoa.
Oh, really?
Totally different, David. First of all, you have to slingshot around other planetary bodies in order to increase your speed, in order to reach the outer solar system. So don't even try to say that it's the same thing as the Rock getting to Samoa in less than 6 hours.
Because the airplane slingshots around the Rock.
Nope.
Yep.
Unless we're agreeing that's what happened, Ben. Do you want to say that we slungshot around a smaller body to launch through its gravitational
Well, I don't know
pull?
if in terms of star power between Kevin Hart and The Rock, I'm pretty sure that's a pretty large star.
The gravitational
slingshotting
pull.
around. Yeah.
That's true. Kevin Hart does orbit Dwayne The Rock Johnson, so.
And then that is orbited by the plane that they took.
Yep.
All right.
I think
well, that confirms everything. Yep. That's it. All right. Well, that sounds like a pretty good place for us to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Dos and a Half Cincos, especially with Ad Astra. There's a lot of stuff that we unpacked for sure. Guys, what do you guys want to see for next week?
Downton Abbey.
Wait, really?
Said no one.
I'm thinking either Rambo or because Lion King's been out for, I don't know.
No, Lion King will be there till the end of the year, so I'm going to say Rambo.
All right, I'm in for Rambo.
Okay, Rambo, but damn. See, David, you're doing that thing with Lion King like you did with fucking Angry Birds. It's like
Angry Birds.
Hey guys, we can see Rambo, or Lion King is out. It's still in theaters. You guys want to see? I know.
Well, Angry Birds 2 is still in.
Right there.
Angry Birds 2 is still in theaters.
Yes, thank you, David, for the
welcome.
Angry Birds 2 update. This has been your Dos and a Half Cinco's Angry Birds update.
Angry Birds 2 still in theaters, top 15. Pulling in $723,000 last week.
And then next week, it's in the top 35. And the week after that, top 742.
I think it stops at 96.
We'll have to go to like the IMDb list then. The all-time for the all-time
The crazy
list.
thing is this list actually goes all the way down to as long as it earned, I think this one says $113.
Wow.
Whatever.
As long as it earned that much.
Wow.
Rapid Response, number 96 on the list, earned a whopping $113.
I mean, we could make a movie and,
it's in
at
one
least
theater.
like get $120.
Well, if you think each movie ticket's what, $12 a piece at this point?
And we know like 10 people, right?
Do we know 10 people that want to watch our really interesting movie?
Yeah.
We're come out with. All right. So next week it will be Rambo: Last Blood. Once again, this is the Dose and a Half Cincos podcast. We'll be reviewing Rambo Last Blood next week. That pretty much does it for me and the guys here at the Dose and a Half Cincos studios.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah, our very expensive, fancy studio.
In each one of our locations. So, we'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to tip your Reiki masters, and that'll pretty much do it for us. Bye.
And I'm David, and I'm Stuart, and I'm Ben.
I'm Stuart.
Thanks for cutting us out of the outro.
Yeah, and I'm David. And I'm at Big
And
Bob.
I'm also David.
And I suck. And I can't
Oh my
do
God.
anything right.
All right.
Except for offensive Chinese accents.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for another episode. All right. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Dose and a Half Cincos. I'm David.
And I'm Stuart.
And I'm Ben.
Tune in next week. We'll be covering Rambo Last Blood. We'll see you guys then. Don't forget to tip your Reiki masters, and we'll see you then. Okay, bye.
Bye. What was that?
This would be the perfect time to play Spanish Flea. Just saying.
One of these days.
Once we're swimming in the Spanish Flea money.
Yep. When we have the rights to that song, that's when we know we made it.